Good evening and welcome to Current Issues. I'm your host, Hesham Tillawi. Welcome to the program, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get into the program, just a note on the confusion about the schedule. This is the latest, and we're going to stick to it. On Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. On Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. So, Tuesdays, 7:30, Thursdays, 6:30. That way we will get a mixture of the audience out there. We will satisfy people on the East Coast and the West Coast, as well as Central, and hopefully throughout the world. As you know, Current Issues TV is seen all over the world on broadband. It's also seen in Europe, North Africa, West Africa, South America, and North America on satellite, in addition to the cable networks and, of course, some of the local markets there where people took it upon themselves to download and broadcast the program in several cities throughout the United States. So if you know anyone, or if you are that type of person who is an activist and want to get our message out there to people, please let us know. You can contact us. You can go to the website, which is www.currentissues.tv. If we could go ahead and throw that on the screen, that would be helpful. And you can go in there and send us a message. There is a place where you can send a message. We'll be more than happy to work with you. You can broadcast the show anywhere you want in several markets, or in one market. It's up to you. So we'll be more than happy to work with you. As you know, this show is basically, this is the truth. What we show you here is the truth. We don't have any strings attached to anyone, so we tell it to you just like it is, which, of course, it might change soon. We might not be able to tell you the whole truth because of some presidential directive that basically, if you interfere in George Bush's war in Iraq, you can lose your property. Your assets will be frozen, and you will go somewhere where no man has ever been before. Anyhow, we, as most of you know, I just got back from a trip to Palestine. I went there, wanted to see what exactly is going on with the wall that Israel is building. Is it as bad as we have seen in pictures and videos and on the news? Well, it is even worse than that. And once we show some of the video that we had taken, you will see. At this time, we're able to show you some of these. And, of course, later on, we are working on a documentary film. The title is Life Inside the Wall. Once it's finished, we will let you know about it, and we will have it distributed throughout the United States and throughout the world through several distribution methods. But once that DVD is up and running, we will let you know, and you can reserve your copy by also going to the our website and sending us a message. We'll be more than happy to show you and send you one of those DVDs. You can share it with your school, with your company, with your friends. You can make copies of it and just give it to everyone you know. You can show it at your church. And if you or your group want us to talk about it, we will be more than happy to travel anywhere to speak about this to your congregation or your political group or social group or whatever. Personally, I do not charge anything for my speaking engagement, and it's free for whoever wants me to speak. And I'll be more than happy to do it. So just go on the website and invite us to speak to your group. As some of you might know, that the Arab League had sent a delegation to Israel to talk about peace and to offer peace. The delegation consists of the Prime Minister, actually the Foreign Minister of Jordan, and the Foreign Minister of Egypt. A couple of months ago, there was an Arab summit in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, where the Arabs have extended again and again and again the hand of peace to the Israelis. Some of you might remember that in 2002, the Arab summit in Beirut had offered the Israelis the same plan, but the Israelis answered that plan by attacking the city of Jenin. And as most of you know about the Jenin massacre in Palestine, so that was the Israeli answer to the Arab Peace Initiative that was sent via the Israelis or to the Israelis, but they rejected it in 2002. Now in 2007, the Arab Summit again, the Arab leaders again, collectively, they said, let's offer the Israelis the hand of peace. Well, yesterday, those two foreign ministers representing the whole of the Arab world, because the Arab League is basically like the collective leadership of all the Arab countries, and collectively they decided to send this foreign delegation to the Israelis to talk about peace, representing the whole of the Arab world, everybody. Well, the Israeli answer was, we need you to include more people in this delegation. You know, like two foreign ministers who were chosen by the Arab League, not good enough to go and talk to the Israelis about peace. So the Israelis said, yeah, that's fine, but you need to send more people representing more countries, even though those two were speaking for the whole of the Arab world. So as you see, the Israelis basically, every time the Arabs extend the hand of peace to them, they reject it. And the media twist things around where the Israelis turn out to be the good guys and the Arabs are the bad guys, and the Arabs don't want peace, and the Arabs want to destroy the poor little state of Israel. That is, militarily, by the way, is much, much stronger than all of the Arab countries put together. The type of weapons they have, the Arabs they still have probably some of the oldest weapons that are out there, except, a few states who have purchased some of the modern weapons, but I don't think any of these weapons were meant for the Israelis, because we have not seen any of these Arab countries even mentioning that they are building up, or even thinking that they are building up their arsenal to fight the Israelis. On the contrary, the Arabs basically threw their hands up in the air and say, we'll give you peace, and Israel's still refusing. The funny thing, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, once we get started with this, we welcome your phone calls to would love to hear from you, whatever comments or questions, and the phone number will be put on the screen in a little bit. And the funny thing, ladies and gentlemen, is while the Arabs are talking peace and offering the hand of peace to the Israelis are still building settlements in the West Bank. That is what's supposed to be a Palestinian state. They are having this wall built around Palestinian cities, around Palestinian towns, and at the same time, the Arabs are still offering Israel the hand of peace. Things don't add up. Things don't add up. Israel needs to stop doing what it's doing, and it looks like that Israel does not want to stop doing what it's doing, because it has, since 2002, when the Arabs have offered peace to the Israelis, since that time Israel had done nothing. See, back then the wall wasn't there. Back then, a lot of settlements were not there. Back then, a lot of Palestinians were out of jail. Back then, a lot of Palestinians were still alive. Back then, a lot of trees were still in the ground. Back then, a lot of buildings were still intact. But yet, after all of this, the Arabs have decided that we want peace with Israel. Crazy, isn't it? But this shows you that peace can only be accomplished with strength. It will not be accomplished with weakness. If the other guy is being as aggressive as he is, that is Israel, and the Arabs are offering peace, well, you know what the strong person is going to do. He's not going to accept it. Why? Who's going to make him? Who's going to make Israel accept peace? And what incentive is there for Israel to accept peace? Because they have the land. They have the people under siege. They have control. Why would they give up that control? Because some Arabs wants to give them peace? It's like compared to what? War? So Israel knows. Peace and peace and peace. It will never be war, so why should they give up anything? The Arabs will not fight. The Arabs will not put sanctions. The Arabs will not use their influence in the world and with the United States to put influence and exert pressure on Israel. Israel knows it. Give me one reason why Israel should accept peace when there is no war, by the way, and there is no talk of war, and it's never going to be war with Israel by the Arabs. So there's no incentive there for the Israelis. Who's going to make them? Peace will only be accomplished with strength, and that's something the Arabs don't have, even with all their oil and money. But anyhow, we will go to the videotape and show you some pictures that I had taken, or some clips that I had taken while I was there a couple of weeks ago. So let's go ahead and go to the videotape. Okay, what you're seeing here, this is a new area, a new wall, or a new section of the wall that has been basically this area that we're looking through, this gate. This is a neighborhood that was split and taken away from all these other neighborhoods around it. That's our truck that we used with an Israeli license plate, so we can go around. This area is called the Ram. This is where the wall is splitting this town here, and we're going to try to find out exactly what's going on. Okay. So what this is here, I talked to these people there. I asked them, where's this wall going and how far, and they told me that it's going to go all the way down, and I was asking them about these other neighborhoods, and they said this whole thing was one neighborhood, one area, the same people on both sides of the wall. And if you notice, the wall had split them into actually 3 different sides. This wall that you see in front of you goes all the way down the road, and then you have this gate that we are seeing here. People in this area, now you have to understand, the gate is open because the wall is not yet finished. But once the wall is finished, the people in these houses that you're looking at, in these apartments, will not be able to leave this area to go to their jobs, to go to work, to go to their schools, to go to their universities, and to go tend to their lands if they tend to their lands. But this is mainly people who work for, like, the government, people who work as teachers, people who basically they're employees there, and there's really no land in this except residential areas where there's no farms in this particular area. And this gate will be closed with an Israeli jeep sitting there, or an Israeli checkpoint where they will only allow people to go in and out with a particular permission, a special permission to go in here. And so this is where the Israelis will have their checkpoint at the gate. What is interesting is, you see these white vans. That's basically for people when they go to their jobs, and these vans will drop them up here, and then they will walk through the gate and go home. So it will be very, very restricted, and people who live inside this gate and inside these walls will have a special ID card. It's not a Palestinian, it's not an Israeli, but it's, those people who live here with certain needs to go in and out, they will be allowed. And that gate will be closed at a certain time during the night. In winter time, normally like 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, it'll be shut down. And in summer times, about like 8 o'clock or so. Now, this is going down the road. This particular street is basically splitting a road. People on the left, like the left side of the road now is part of Israel, and the right side of the road is with the Palestinians. So as you see, you're driving down the road, and there is a wall that basically it stops you. And I'm sure this little kid had a lot more land to play, but now the street is his only playground because the wall had taken a lot of land. And yeah, really, who is the terrorist here? This is really, if this is not terrorism and not terrorizing people, I don't know what is. As you see, the neighborhoods are split. I met with a man who his house was adjacent to his mother's house, and the wall went right in between, and now they can't see each other. Once the road is finished, as you see, they're continuing to build this road in Palestinian neighborhoods. And, there is really, you try to see any logic for why the way the wall is snaking in through the neighborhoods, and you really can't figure out how in the world they're doing this. This wall is not finished yet. It's going to turn around and come back from that ditch that you've seen a while ago. And all their work will be guarded by soldiers where you can't really do anything. Like that white pickup truck you just saw up there, that's for soldiers with guns. We were not allowed to film that white truck right there. We're not allowed to film them and show you, otherwise they will arrest us and confiscate our equipment. But as you see, this is like somebody's front yard, and so this area right here, these neighbors across the street from each other, will be divided forever. And for what? This is not, now you can't tell me this is Israel's border, because Israel has not really, they're still working on this wall. Israel has not yet to define any borders, because now this here in the middle of this particular street is not closed in yet because the wall is not finished. So they will let these roads, so people, whoever wants to leave and move on the other side will be able to do so at this juncture here. But once this wall is finished, this particular opening that you see will be closed, and people will not be able to go in or out. I mean, I've seen many roads where you will be driving on this road, and all of a sudden it will come into a wall. And that's what's going to happen to this particular small road that you're seeing here, that it will be basically, once it's closed, this road will not be used because people will not be able to go from one side to the other. And this is a neighborhood right here. What you're watching is a neighborhood that has been split with this road. Now, you're not going to see this. Look at this wall, the way it's sneaking through and snaking through the neighborhood. It has, the tragedies are countless. Almost every family who remained inside this wall has a story to tell, where families will be split from each other forever. people in this here, the economic conditions of people who remained inside this wall, which is more of a no man's land, because they will not be given Israeli ID cards, and they will not be given Jerusalemite cards. So these people are doomed to, they're trying to force the Palestinians to leave these areas. And the Arabs are talking about peace with Israel. This boggles my mind, how while this delegation was there yesterday, the Israelis were continuing building this particular wall. And it's amazing, ladies and gentlemen. When we hear President Bush talking about a Palestinian state, who are they trying to kid here? And now they're talking about a conference, a peace conference. For what? This is what Israel is doing, and it's doing it. It has been doing it. It almost finished with this wall. And by the way, a few years back, when Israel, in 2004, the International Court of Justice have issued a ruling that this wall is illegal and it must be turned down. And no one is going to tear this wall down, because no one's going to make the Israelis. Look at this. This is a road that I was driving up, and all of a sudden in the middle of the road they have this makeshift fence, and that's where the wall is going to continue to be built. Israel calls this a fence, a security fence. As you see, this is a 25-foot concrete wall, steel and concrete wall, and this is not a security fence. You want a fence to secure yourself? Put it on your border. If you have in your own home, you want to have your fence in your backyard, then put it in your backyard, not in somebody else's backyard. We see that it stopped here. See if you can, I don't know what happened here. See if you can just push it forward a little bit. All right, this wall is going to divide the mosque and the temple. No, it will not. Question some of the in the audience that if I know that this wall will, if it's going to divide the mosque and the temple, like it says in the Bible. No, it's not. It will not. You can go back to camera 2 while you finish working on your good. This particular question, no, the wall will not. But what happened is this wall has went way beyond where Jerusalem is. This is not like on the borders of Jerusalem, because Israel said that it wants to take the whole city of Jerusalem, and this wall is way beyond, like 30 kilometers north of Jerusalem, so it's not even close to the Temple Mount. No, that will not be. He told you this a long time. Okay, he said he told you this a long time ago, and you don't listen to what he says. Well, Joel, I'm not going to get in this, because you told me that the world was going to end in September 2007 or 2006 or something like that, and we're still here, or June, I don't know what you said, but that date when you said that the world was going to end has come and gone. So nonsense. I don't believe in these things. I believe in reality. I believe what I see in front of me, and this has nothing to do with biblical stuff, because the Jews who are doing this, they have nothing to do with biblical either. These are Jews who converted to Judaism in Europe, and it has nothing to do with the Jews who lived in Palestine at that time. Let's get this story straight, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not get so bogged down into these little silliness. Life has to move on. We are in 2007. We're not in the year 0. Okay? The Jews who are there now, these people have converted to Judaism. These are the Khazar Jews. They have nothing to do with the seed of Abraham. These are not the people who were taken out of the land. most of those people who wanted to come back did come back, if you know your history. People live on that side of the wall, on the other side of the world. They are people who look like me. They have Jews, Christians, and Muslims in that part of the world. They don't have blue eyes, blonde hair, and I'm not really going to... Okay, let's take Joel. All right, Joel, go ahead. What you got?
Hello, Doctor. How you doing, sir?
I'm fine.
Now, I know you like... Seems to me you like to exaggerate sometimes. I never suggested that the world was going to end.
Oh, my goodness. You know what? Joel, come on. Do I need to go back to my archives and show you exactly when you said that this guy in...
I said the world was going to end. I never said...
What did you say? What did you say?
I said that it was a time period, that it was a date and a time period of a beginning of something.
Uh-huh.
And of the beginning of the process. See, right now the world is preparing for war. You see what went on in the Mojave Desert? You know how long it's been since they've been testing bombs in the Mojave, the desert, where they just had an explosion today? They haven't been in that area in 18 years.
Okay.
They're back there testing nuclear weapons again. They haven't been there in 18 years. Something just blew up today where they had an accident and a couple of people were killed.
Okay.
So it was a time period that I was talking about, not that day the world was going to end. I never suggested that. And,
okay.
And then,
all right, I take it back. That's what I thought you said.
It's just it was a time period that I was talking about, the beginning of a time period. And in fact, Condoleezza Rice, she made the comment of a time of trouble, like a woman with child. If you remember, Condoleezza Rice said these things on when she was speaking to some group of people. And well, just the other day, they asked Condoleezza how the baby was doing, because the baby was born. The baby was just born on June 12th. The baby was born. So one of the media asked Condoleezza, "How is the baby doing?" They asked Condoleezza Rice how the baby was doing. So the baby was born June 12th. Now, the baby was conceived 9 months before that.
And who this baby supposed to be?
Was the nuclear baby.
The nuclear baby.
The nuclear baby. See, I didn't say the world was going to end. I told you it was a time
Okay, and
period.
the nuclear baby is going to do what?
Well, that's, right now they're preparing for nuclear war. And, that's what everybody's preparing for. They're preparing for, you see the countries preparing for war. You don't see nobody preparing for peace. You just got through talking about the Palestinians. These people are not preparing for a peaceful solution.
What people?
They're preparing for nothing but all-out destruction. And you know that, and I know that.
Who's that?
Who's that what?
Who's preparing for all-out destruction?
Well, you just got through saying they're building a wall and the people can't go,
right.
Why are they building that wall?
Right.
Why is, you see that...
Why is Israel building the wall?
Yeah.
Because they want the Palestinians to leave the land. That's why.
Okay.
They want to engage them.
About the wall separating the mosque and the Temple Mount.
No, there's no wall that separates the
I know, but it will. It will. It's going to go right through there, and it's going to separate the mosque. Because right now they have the plans are in their hands, the architectural plans and the designs for rebuilding the temple.
Right.
Doctor, they start any day to rebuilding that temple.
This area is called
No. Listen. The plan has been out there for a long time, but that doesn't mean that every time someone has a plan, that his plan has to go. Now, if he has the strength and he has the power, his plan will go. And yes, I agree with you. Looking at what is going on right now, if Israel builds this temple, which is probably just about a matter of time, I guarantee you no one is going to do anything. You know what they're afraid about. Maybe 30 years ago, maybe the Arabs would have done something, but right now the Arabs and the Muslims, they're not going to do anything. Even if Israel goes and builds this Temple Mount, they're not going to do anything. At this time, and this was my point, Joel, that the Israelis are building these walls. They are sucking the life out of the Palestinians. They are killing the Palestinians. They are putting these walls and separating families from families, and they are stealing the land. And what do but look, what do the Arabs do? Yesterday they sent a delegation from the whole. This is the first time. This is historic. This is the first time the Arab countries collectively, all of them, sent a delegation to Israel to offer them peace, and the Israelis basically rejected it in so many words. They said, "Oh well, we need you to send more people." It's like, okay, well, you either, we'll send the whole everybody. You're still not going to agree. So my point is, Israel can do anything it wants because it has the backing of the United States government, and basically, he who has the gun will control.
Well, you talked about Israel, and my last comment is about the Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jerusalem has been turned over into the possession of. It's not. They've turned it over to the church, to the Catholic Church in Rome. They've delegated, and they went and turned it over, and it's in the hands of the Catholics. Jerusalem is in the hands of the Catholic Church. The Roman Catholic Church is in control of Jerusalem at this time, not Israel, not Palestine. It was turned over
I'll
to
comment.
the Catholic Church.
I'll comment on that. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Appreciate the call. Okay. It's not really, there's a lot of talk out there about the Vatican. The Vatican. Sometimes people think, oh, they control the world. No, they don't control the world. Now, does the Vatican have interest in Jerusalem? Of course. And do they control certain aspects and certain properties and real estate in Jerusalem? Of course they do. And as well as other churches and other denominations. Jerusalem is important to all three religions, Muslims, Christians, and Jews. And Christians from all over the world and the different denominations, Eastern or Western, Orthodox or Catholics or Baptists, they do have interest in Jerusalem. Now, Jerusalem, it was not turned over to the Vatican. These certain aspects where the Vatican was afraid that Israel was going to take the confiscate or annex these churches and this property. It was basically so do I understand that we have the if we have the do we have it to roll? Are we ready? Just go ahead and roll it if we're ready. Okay, looks like we're having some technical difficulties in there. Here we go. Is this where we left off? I'm assuming. You can fast forward it a little bit. We did some of this. Yeah, go ahead. Just go ahead and fast forward it. Come back to me on 2 and just fast forward it a little bit for about a couple of minutes or so, and then just you can get back to where we were, because we don't have really much time and there's a lot of stuff to cover. But people like to see this thing biblically. But let's talk about what is going on today, because remember. There's 1 billion Christians in the world. There's another billion Muslims. And they say there's 12 million Jews. I met probably all of them. Somehow I don't believe that number, because I just think it's for some reason why they want it to, because there's 6 million of them in Israel, or 5 million. And then we have about 10 million here, I think, or 8 million in the United States. But, again, I think there are a lot more. But it really doesn't matter, even if there's a billion of them out there. It doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters are the Palestinians are the victims here. Now, I don't care what you people really believe or not believe, but one thing that I know for a fact that Jesus cares about is a human life. And he did not say to kill. And if God wants to end this, why would he wait for this sort of excuse me, this sort of stuff to happen? He could end the world. And so this is more of another tragedy when people are okay to kill these poor Palestinians and have them live. You can put it on now. Let's see where you at. Okay, now I'm in the dark, sitting, looking at here we go. Okay, again, we continue with this, even though I believe we had probably seen this, but let's continue with it. No, I think we've seen this, so let's go ahead and fast forward it some more. We apologize for this, but when you are on live TV, this sort of things happen. Yeah, that's fine with me. Just keep doing it. That's fine. That's fine. People can see what's going on, and I'll just tell you where to stop, unless we have a problem with the DVD, because I think it stopped a little bit after this. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a DVD professionally made for this and other shots that we had taken. We'll show you the life of the Palestinian people. You would not believe how these people are living in Palestine. And, you know, you're not talking about a primitive people here. You know, the Palestinians have they have the most educated people per capita throughout that region. And do I take it this is the last thing? You can't go any further? Hit fast forward, because that's where it ended. It freezes up. Okay, that's unfortunate. I guess keep going. Probably froze at the end of that. Okay. It looks like we probably, I guess, Houston, we have a problem. Okay. No fast forward is working. Okay, let's get back to me here with my, yeah, here we go. Okay. Well, unfortunately, apparently there's a problem with the DVD, even though we tried it before the show and it worked fine. But hey, always on. Well, maybe we want you to get the full version of this. That's why. But you have seen, you know. Okay, I did not understand that. So that's why we have people here. I understand. We got that. Thank you. Okay, that's what we very much figured out, that it will not go past a certain point, and so unfortunately we I don't know what to tell you. We wanted to really show you some other stuff, but unfortunately, you know what? You can just put it back from the beginning and just show a few you know, frames here and there while we just talk about the general situation there in Palestine and what this wall actually means to the Palestinians. Like I mentioned last time, in 2004 when I went there, people were very upset about the wall and very angry. This time I did not sense that anger, because I think people have gotten used to living that type of life, and you know, expecting that to go to work, it might take you 3 hours or 4 hours to get to work, and it might take you another 3 or 4 hours to get back home. So, which means as a Palestinian worker or a teacher or whatever, if they do give you a permission to leave these areas, then you will be to go to work. Whenever you're ready, just go ahead and put it, and I'll continue to talk. So if you are a Palestinian worker and wanting to go to work, you will have probably going to take you about 2 to 3 hours to go to work and 2 to 3 hours to come back. So you're looking at about 6 hours just in transit, and your job was only 15, 20 minutes. You know, remember, these cities, they're not huge. You can go through the city of Ramallah in 15 minutes. And so you can get anywhere you want to go in 15 minutes in that city. But now, once they close this door, and just think about students, teachers. The Jerusalem University, we could not show you some of these videos. We'll show them to you another time. Jerusalem University, the wall have went right in the middle of their soccer stadium, and basically it cut off the university from a huge chunk of the population that was feeding that university. A lot of students were coming from these areas that you are seeing within the walls. So the university ended up being on the outside of the wall, and most of the people that university or they were dependent on that university, and the university was dependent on them, they ended up being in two different countries, because this particular wall here, it has also been transferred into a border crossings between Israel, even though this wall is in the middle of the West Bank, the middle of Palestinian areas, but it has been transformed into a border crossings, which means that Palestinians cannot enter these areas here if they live on the outside of the wall. And only people who live inside these areas can enter this with special permission, enter in and out with special permission, but other Palestinians cannot go in there. So if you have relatives living there, if you owned a house in there, if you owned an apartment building, if you whatever, you will not be able to go there, because if you don't live there, then you're not going to get this special ID that they are going to give these people. Ladies and gentlemen, this wall is going to end up costing billions of dollars, and you're paying for it. The American taxpayer is basically paying for it, because this is your money. This is your money in action. Instead of going to education and health care, just imagine how much the money we can have for education. A lot of people can't even go to universities because they can't get the money, while we are paying for this wall to separate the Palestinians. You can see, ladies and gentlemen, you can no longer say that this wall is to protect Israel. The protection of Israel was not the reason why they're building this wall. This is like in the middle of, why would you go in the middle of the West Bank to build this wall? And then within these areas and towns that you encage within the wall, then you end up cutting up the neighborhoods into different sections, and people can't move from one section to another. So I don't understand where this is going to, if Israel really wanted their security, then move this wall to your borders, get out of the West Bank. But I think it's, unfortunately, I really believe it is way too late for this two-state solution that they're after. And I'm really very disappointed with the Arab regimes and the Arab countries, where they don't understand the game, or they're hoping that they will be spared. But I guarantee you, this is a huge process that will continue, and the Arabs are continuing to give more and more and more and more, and the Israelis, they just want more and more and more and more, and that's going to be continued, because as this delegation speaking with the Israelis about peace, I don't understand, even if they say yes, it's impossible to have a Palestinian state when the Palestinian areas all over are very much of what you're looking at here, all over the West Bank. I mean, this is not typical in this area. This goes through, we've showed you in previous shows the map of this wall, and we've showed you where it's like throughout. Just imagine the United States or the state of Louisiana being cut off with these walls all over the place. Every town, every larger cities are even cut off and cut up to different pieces. So I don't understand where's the Palestinian state is going to be, because there is no way on earth that you can have a viable Palestinian state when it's cut up like that, and when Israel is taking bigger portions of the West Bank, especially by the Jordan River. That's what is left right now for the Palestinian, about 10% of separated, split chunks of population all over the West Bank that are not connected with each other. And there's no way you can have a viable state. So, in my opinion, a two-state solution is gone. There is no way, even if they have peace, and they sign peace, there's no way it's going to be a two-state solution. The only thing left probably is a one-state solution where the Arabs and the Jews will live happily ever after. And as a matter of fact, the Palestinians said, "Hey, that's fine with us. You know, we'll do that. We'll go for that. We'll go for one-state solution." But of course, you know, Israel is really shooting itself in the foot by building these settlements and by building these walls, because the two-state solution is the best solution for Israel. They don't have to worry about the Palestinians and about demographics here. But with them doing this, they are killing any hopes for a two-state solution, and which means that they will basically have to settle for a one-state solution, or forever have the Palestinians as servants for the Jews. That's basically what it will end up happening. Is you will have a subservient population, which the Israelis are very much getting that population ready to accept the fact that they are a subservient to the Israelis. And I don't believe the Palestinians will ever accept that position, which means that there will always be problems there. But, you know, the agony, ladies and gentlemen, that the Palestinians have been going through this for 60 years. And like I started saying before, we had a problem with the video there, with the DVD. The Palestinians are educated people. They're not all wanting to grow up and be suicide bombers. As a matter of fact, this suicide bomber stuff is exploited and was exploited by the Israeli media and by the Western media to the max, where the first thing that comes to anybody's mind are those poor Israelis, you know, being killed by these suicide bombers. The question that you need to ask yourself about, and really, this was so strange that when people think of, like, you know, if I say, how many suicide bombers you think has been since the beginning of Intifada in 2000? And the answer is less than 20. And how many of them have been successful? The answer is less than 10. And because, you know, with primitive technology, a lot of times these things blew up the guy, you know, on his way, or even before he started on his way. And, you know, a few of them made their target. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't condone the killing of any innocent civilians, but at the same time, living under these conditions, and this is nothing, by the way. This is what we have showed you here is really nothing compared to this was like one of the more upper, I would say, middle class Palestinian neighborhoods, or upper middle class Palestinian neighborhoods. Normally, poor Palestinians don't live in apartment buildings like you saw there, and a lot of them are still refugees living in camps. I'm sure you have seen some of these pictures coming out of these camps in Palestine, in Jordan, in Lebanon, especially in Lebanon. That's another tragedy the Palestinians going through. So I think it's time for the world to wake up, and justice, you know, justice must prevail, because, you know, I understand. You know, people say that, you know, God is not fair. I understand that, and God does not need to be fair, but I think God needs to be just, and that's who we have. We have a just God, and for some reason, until now, He has not interfered, and hopefully, probably waiting on you to do your job, probably waiting on you to do your part as a human being. And if you do believe in God, whatever your religion might be, if it's Christian, Muslim, or Jews, or Buddhist, or Sikh, it does not really matter. You have a conscience, and I guarantee you, if seeing pictures like this and seeing what the Palestinians are going through, no God will accept this, and no human being should accept this, because the Palestinians have suffered enough for no fault of their own, except when the British picked up this land after the Ottoman Empire, they decided to bring the Jews of Europe to occupy it. And that's basically what what we have. Someone wants to replay something. We we only have 5 minutes to go in the show. So anyhow, it's well, if people wants to talk, I mean, some people, look, if you want to talk, just we'll put you through. If you don't, I'm not going to take questions over the, we don't have time, we only have 4 minutes, and I'll be more than happy to put people on the air to speak. I just don't have time to take notes and then have them to read it for me and all this stuff. But, so, do we have anybody? No, they don't want to talk. Okay. Well, it doesn't really hurt. Okay. Hello, Freedom.
Yes, hello, Dr. Tillawi. The reason why I called is because I kind of like you on 2 nights a week, because I get to tape you 2 nights a week, and you get to respond to what has happened the day before. I want to ask you a question. How do you feel about Alberto Gonzalez, the Attorney General, who they may either impeach or they may indict for perjury? Do you think that the Attorney General should be brought up on charges for perjury, for lying to the Congress and to both the House of Representatives and the Senate?
Well, my answer to you is no.
You answer to me?
Now let me qualify that answer.
Okay, go ahead.
If we are going to pick on one, then we need to pick on all, and we need to indict all, and I say all, and that means everybody in Washington, because they are all guilty as charged, from the president to the vice president to the Secretary of State to the Secretary of Defense to the members of Congress to the members of the Senate to cabinet members. Alberto Gonzalez, of course he needs to go to jail. Of course he lied. Of course they had played politics and to their advantage.
But Dr. Tillawi, I mean, he lied about going to John Ashcroft's bed, the Attorney General who was ill.
Sure.
He lied about that, and the FBI, the head of the FBI today said he did go to John Ashcroft's bedside to get him to approve the spying program.
Yeah, you know, I think my point, Freedom, is clear that if we are going to go, and if the FBI has enough guts to go after the Attorney General, they need to go after the President. They need to go after the Vice President. So I agree. No, yes, I agree. He should be indicted. He should be charged. And, you know, if he's proven in the court of law that but hey, look, you know, we went through this charade with Scooter Libby.
Yeah, you shocked, huh?
We spent millions of dollars and many hours, hundreds of hours, fooling with Scooter Libby. You know, we get them to court. We say you're guilty. You go into jail. And what does the president do? He pardons them.
But Dr. Tillawi, for a president who has abused the Constitution to the Patriot Act and whatnot, here he is claiming executive privilege, don't want people to tell the truth what's been happening with that spying program. Now, how can on the one hand you claim executive privilege, and on the other hand you trampled over people like you and I, our constitutional rights, not only by signing the decision May the 9th, but the other decision he signed July 17th.
Definitely.
So how can this president talk about executive privilege so he could keep his privacy when he want to walk over your right and my right?
Freedom. I only have like 1 minute left in the program, but I can tell you the American people are sleeping on their couches. And by the time they wake up and they get up to smell the roses, it will be too late. They don't even, I bet you from our audience right now, I bet you there's probably 1 or 2 people who know what we're talking about when we say July 17. How many people out there are aware of what July 17 is all about?
Dr. Tillawi, they could confiscate everything you have,
exactly.
I have, if they feel that we're hurting that struggle in Iraq.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
Do you know
exactly? Do you know how many people? We have half a minute left. Thank you, Freedom.
Thank you.
How many people left in this country who believe in this war? Probably 5 people around the president. The majority of people don't believe in it. But if you speak against it, you're probably going to lose all your property. That's what the president signed on July 17th. I bet you did not know about it. Well, you heard it here. We'll see you next Tuesday, 7:30, ladies and gentlemen, not 8 o'clock, 7:30. Good night. See you then.